Hey, time to wake up. The vacation is finished. Let's make something. What I would like to do is to make a follow rest. Because what I would like to do is to make a follow rest. But of course also because maybe one day I would like to make a new lead screw for the shaper. And this lead screw I have right here. Almost. For these 2 or 3 people that doesn't know what a follow rest is, let me explain. The new lead screw I have to make is about 550 millimeters long, which means from here to more or less here. And the diameter is 20 millimeters. That's not much. With a stick out like this one and a very small diameter, of course, when the cutting tool is cutting in the material, the whole thing will flex. And to prevent it, we can make a system, a follow rest that will support the tool, the workpiece right here below and on the backside. And when the carriage is moving, the follow rest will follow. Let me explain a little bit the building idea. In the carriage of this lathe there are 2 holes, here, here. Metric 10, so no problem, I have all I need. And the idea is to maybe install a piece of this plate right here. And then on this side, of course, because the cutting tool will be a bit behind it, install a finger here and one on top this side. Now, of course, this plate is a little bit thin and I can't install it directly on these holes. So I will make a little bit support thing like this one, clean it up of course, and then weld these 2 together. And because the plate is too thin, I will make some kind of reinforcement idea and cut out, and let's go for it. Before I start cutting, I first give it a little touch on the belt sander. And I think it looks immediately a bit more useful. So let's cut off this useless thing here. See if my machine can do this. Nope. Angle grinder. Normally, I would clean up this part here in the shaper, because the shaper is much faster than the milling machine. But because here is weld and this side is an old frame cut face or something, this will be really hard and the shaper high-speed steel tooling will not be very happy with it. So I will do it here in a milling machine and use carbide. And also because it's frame cut, it's all over the place, so I will install the more or less straight side against the fixed jowl. And between the moving jowl and my part I will put a little piece of brass. If I manage to, we'll see. I really have to do something about the bearings and this part and here. Because when I start cutting, it feels a bit as if the whole thing is gonna explode. This is a 0.5 millimeter cut. I installed a smaller cutter. It's less aggressive on my machine. but of course it also takes way longer. I just finished drilling the holes for the mounting bolts here and here, and I think it would look a little more professional if they were countersunk. But as I told in a previous video, I don't have these countersink special drill bits. And I suppose Mats, he listens very well to my videos because he came to the rescue. When I came home after my vacation, I found in my mailbox a beautiful little cardboard box from Mats in the UK, and Mats, he sent me a whole bunch of very useful things, like for example tool holders. Now this brand new. I think it was used only once because there are only 3 little marks in here, so this really beautiful tool. And 2 others, the left and the right hand tool holders, and of course 2 boxes of inserts that go with them, and a complete collection of countersinks. And the one I need, I have right here, the metric 10 countersink. So of course I think this is the ideal moment to give it a try. But there's a little bit but. The diameter on the top part here, the small part where the thread part comes, is about 10.3 millimeters. So I need to drill it, for example, 10.35 or 10.40, which of course I don't have. I have a 10.9 drill bit. So if I take my bolt out and I put my countersink in, there's a little bit of play. But I'm gonna try it anyway, and I will go easy and slow cutting speed. 375 RPM, which gives a cutting speed of a little bit less than 20 meters a minute. I will hand feed the thing because I never used a countersink before. Cute! So much as you can see, your countersink works perfectly fine. So thank you very much for your generous gesture, for of course the cutting tools, and the next time I'm gonna use the lathe, I'm sure I will give them a try. But that's not all, there is more. I also received a box from Martin in Germany. Martin? Yeah, Martin. Excuse me, Martin, but sometimes names, you know. And Martin, he sends me a whole collection that you can hardly see here. Very tiny little end mills. I will open one box. I think it's really scary because just looking at it, I think it will break if you look too hard. So this is really cute, and as you can see, there is even more in one box. So maybe 20 little old end mills, very delicate stuff. And he doesn't only do in the small things, he also does in the very large things. For example, the video friendly dial indicator. I think this is a marvelous piece of equipment. One rotation, 1 millimeter. And he also sends me another tip. So this tip here I can change. I'm pretty sure this will be very useful for video making. So Martin, thank you very much for your generosity. I really appreciate it. And now let's continue. Make a steady rest. No, follow rest. Right, where do we were? I installed the bottom piece here on the lathe and I already cut out my little plate. And before I weld the things together, first I will square it up a bit, just to have it square. Shapers are fun. I'm cleaning up the bottom face of the thing because while welding it pulled it a bit out of square. This side I had to make 2 welds and the other side only 1, and that's why now the thing is it happens, okay? But anyway, this surface was also a bit snake shape, so it will be better just to clean it up a bit. Okay, to cut this surface here, as maybe you can see, I used the round tool, round nose tool. The advantage of this tool is of course that you can use more or less whatever angle you want. Normally I use this tool a little bit diamond shape, but the cutting side of this tool is this side. The bottom also cuts, but it's not really made for it, and the angle you use to cut on the horizontal surface or vertical surface is really important. 2 or 3 degrees off and it doesn't work anymore. It still works, but the surface finish is below 0. So the round nose, you can choose whatever angle to make sure it clears the clapper box and the dovetail here behind, that you can just see here my finger. You see there's not much room left. So that's why I think this could be a very useful tip. And as you can see, it works really well. Right, let's install the thing and find the center. I think it's right here. Of course you can see, but it's right here. To make the cutout I need here in my future follow rest, I will do it here on the milling machine. So first drill holes and then using the boring head to open it up. And to do this I will use a piece of precision wood to put under my part in here, and to prevent cutting in the jaws I will use two equal sized pieces of some things, put them here. So now I have a distance big enough between the jaw and the center of my part, normally. Shit. Because I had a clearance problem with this too long drill, I had to reinstall the part, but this time directly on the table. Of course I could have cut a little piece of this drill bit, but I don't want to do that, because one day for sure I will need a very long 16mm drill bit, and if I cut a piece off, right. Now, this time it works perfectly fine. Okay, let's install the boring head and start enlarging this opening. As I suppose you can see, this is a very big cut for a small tool. I can take smaller cuts because the hole is too small, and I have a terrible chatter problem. So what I did, I installed here, you can't see on camera, but there's a little bolt that I unscrewed so it serves a bit as a jack. And I put the finest feed I have on this machine, and still it is scary. Let's see what happens. And now it seems to work just fine. That's good. Normally, when you want to show how good you are, it fails, and when you want to show how it fails, it works. I don't understand a thing of it, but that's what it is. That's big enough. That will do. That was scary. It's this spindle ring thing here that touches the bolt. That's okay, I will cut it out by hand. Before I take this plate off, of course, it's a good idea to first drill and tap the holes for the mounting the fingers that will hold my spinny thing in place. But as always, there is of course a problem. A small one. The tap I need is a M3, and yesterday while working on another project I used it an end of my tap. So before I can finish this part, first I have to go out and buy a new one. But because today is Friday and Friday this video comes out, of course I can't finish. So I think I will end this video here and continue making this part in next week's video.